the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Ben Johnson is not playing around. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about right here on Keek on the Mic about how Ben Johnson was basically sending a clear message to every single person on this roster. And he said simply this: there is no depth chart right now. If you want to play, you've got to go earn it. If you want to roll, you've got to go earn it. Obviously, Ben Johnson is trying to really create this open competition on this Bears roster. And of course, when you think about competition, you look at the quarterback one. We all know it's going to be Caleb Williams. You look at some of the receivers. We know DJ Moore and Roma Dunze are going to be wide receiver 1 and 2 on this roster as well. But also you look along this Bears roster and there's going to be a whole lot of competition. Maybe you look at the left tackle spot where you have Braxton Jones, Aji Chapillo, and Karana Magaji battling out over there for the starting left tackle job along this Bears offensive line. Maybe you look in the backfield at the running back position. Maybe DeAndre Swift is not as safe as some Bears fans assume. But here's where things get interesting. When Ben Johnson just a couple of weeks ago made this statement about there is no depth chart right now. If you want to play, you got to go earn it. If you want a role, you've got to go earn it. As of today or yesterday, Bears fans are going absolutely nuts. I wanted to share it with you guys on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. So the Chicago Bears have posted their first official depth chart, and usually they'll either have like old names from last season, and usually they don't even have really positions on this first official depth chart. But the Chicago Bears, if you look at it right here, have the positions labeled. So you see wide receiver, left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. On the defense side, you see DN, D tackle, DN, linebackers, but it's absolutely blank. So Ben Johnson wasn't kidding. There's going to be open competition across this roster. Once again, I understand that Caleb Williams is going to be quarterback 1. We're not sitting here saying that Tyson Bagent is going to beat him out to be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, but Ben Johnson wasn't joking. He meant what he said, that it's going to be, if you want a spot on this team, you have to go earn it. Nothing's going to be handed out. Nothing is going to be guaranteed. So to me, I absolutely love this mentality. He is just trying to create as much competition as possible and just trying to create that competitive culture as well. I think, when you're looking at past coaches for the Chicago Bears, we lack that competitive culture within the Chicago Bears organization. So I like the idea that Ben Johnson from the get-go is coming in as a first-year head coach within this Bears organization, says, look hey, what I say goes. If you want a spot on this Bears roster, you have to go out there and earn it. Once again, we understand that Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, but he better come out and still compete. He better not come out and just play lackadaisically or think that, it's just guaranteed, because nothing is guaranteed in the National Football League. So once again, absolutely love this mindset from Ben Johnson. How do you guys feel about the depth chart being empty and basically Ben Johnson actually being about it? Let me know down below how you are feeling. Bears fans, before I let you guys go on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I also wanted to share a pretty hot rumor going around about the Chicago Bears. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago right here on the podcast about the possibility of the Bears maybe trading for Seattle Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker. And I know a lot of you guys, kind of shut it down saying we don't really want Kenneth Walker, but it seems that the rumors are kind of heating up. Once again, nothing's set in stone, so don't shoot the messenger. This is what I just kind of been seeing all over social media, that the Chicago Bears, meaning Ryan Poles, have already actually reached out to the Seattle Seahawks in regard about a trade for star running back Kenneth Walker. Once again, I don't know if this is accurate. I don't know if this is true. This is just me relaying the message to you guys of what I saw over social media. Once again, when you look at Kenneth Walker, 5'9", 211 pounds, 24 years old, 24 rushing TDs in 3 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. Played only 11 games last season in 2024 due to an injury. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. Last time we talked about Kenneth Walker, it kind of makes sense on why the Seahawks may want to move off of Walker. Yes, he's a very good running back, but they do have Zach Charbonnet. And when Kenneth Walker did go down with that injury last season, Zach Charbonnet stepped in a huge way. And if you guys actually had Charbonnet in fantasy football, you guys will understand that he was a big-time fantasy football player, but also stepped in a big way for the Seattle Seahawks offense when Kenneth Walker went down. They also drafted Damian Martinez in the 2025 NFL draft as well. So in the Seattle Seahawks perspective, they could be thinking, you know what? Kenneth Walker is a very good running back, but once again, only played 11 games in 2024. The first 2 seasons only played in 15 games for us as well. We have Zach Charbonnet. We drafted Damian Martinez. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. Maybe it would be smart for us as a Seattle Seahawks organization just to move off of him and maybe get a 3rd or 4th round pick in return, just so we do not have to pay him when he is eligible for that contract. Because at this day, even though he has missed some games here and there, when he is due for his next contract, he's probably going to make a pretty penny. He's a pretty good running back in the National Football League. So now that comes to Ryan Poles and the Bears' point of view. Does this make sense for Ryan Poles and the Bears to pull off a trade for Kenneth Walker? Once again, we have DeAndre Swift. We drafted Kyle Monangai. We have Ian Wheeler. We have Roshan Johnson. We have Travis Homer as well. But there's a lot of Bears fans, including myself at times, calling for Ryan Poles to add another running back. We've talked about the possibility of Nick Chubb or J.K. Dobbins in free agency. And of course, with Nick Chubb, he has some age concerns and obviously some injury concerns. J.K. Dobbins is obviously younger, but also has some injury concerns that carry on him as well. But at the same time, they are free agents, so the Bears won't have to give up any draft capital to land a guy like J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb. When you're looking at Kenneth Walker, he's 24 years old, not really as severe of injuries compared to J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb, but he does carry some injury history. You would have to give up some draft capital. And at this point, I think Kenneth Walker would cost the Bears a 3rd or 4th round pick. Once again, he's in the last year of his rookie deal. So you'd also have to pay him that contract extension if he comes to Chicago and balls out, which I think, Walker would be a perfect complement to what we already have in DeAndre Swift. So once again, like Kenneth Walker as a player, but the simple fact that you have to give up draft capital, you'd possibly have to pay him after this year. He comes with the injury history. Do you like the idea that he's only 24 years old? When he's healthy, he's a very productive back. But at the same time, I think I'm starting to, move and shift my perspective on the running back room here in Chicago. I want Ryan Poles to add, but I think I do like the idea, just like Ryan Poles mentioned, that let's just see what we have first in Kyle Monangai, Roshan Johnson, even Ian Wheeler at this point, paired with DeAndre Swift, and see if that will be enough going into training camp. If we go into training camp and after the first couple of weeks, you're like, you know what? We desperately need to add another running back, then go out there and explore possibly a trade for Kenneth Walker, or even going to sign J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb and bring them into the backfield to pair with DeAndre Swift on this Bears offense. So Bears fans, overall, do you like the idea that it seems like starting to heat up that the Bears may actually trade for Kenneth Walker? Or do you just want Ryan Poles to stay put, go into training camp and see what we have in Kyle Monangai, Travis Homer, Ian Wheeler, and DeAndre Swift? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout